I'm just gonna wait for a few minutes, see who wants to jump on. Trying to see if I could do this and YouTube at the same time, but I don't think I'll be able to. I don't think I'll be able to. So I'll give it about 1 minute, and then I will jump on. Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm just jumping on, so I honestly, yeah. I don't have my list of questions, but if you have questions, make sure to drop them in the chat or wherever I can get to them. But all right, babies, this is AMA Ask Me Anything, focusing on Wilkes University, Capella University. I think the last video that I did was either in June or it was in July. I'm really not sure. And I think at the time, I believe I was talking about the clinical placement fiasco, debacle. It was pretty crazy. And I'm speaking about Wilkes. So where I'm at now is 4 semesters down. Thank God. 1 semester left. And it has been quite the journey. I can say that the 4th semester for me, which for some people only have to do 2 semesters, but we already discussed this. And if you're unsure about what I'm talking about, check out the other videos. So I did 5 semesters, but there are people who do come in and they only have to do 2. I had to do 3 additional ones, so on and so forth. But the actual clinical portion, it was a little crazy. When I say there was no instruction, like absolutely 0 instruction, there was no instruction of like how to do things. Other than, I guess, like a rubric of like, like papers and things like that. But as far as like clinical and what's expected of you and, how to log your hours, how many hours you need a week, things like that, no instruction. And in my particular, sorry, moving around, but in my particular situation with my instructor, she basically told us that she was tired of answering our questions and to check the announcements. But the announcements didn't address our questions. So the program was basically pretty much sink or swim. Yeah, basically sink or swim. And it was challenging because I'm not used to that. I'm used to being able to reach out to the instructors. You get, answers to your questions and things like that. And I'll always go back and say this. What I liked about Capella was that you have video instructions that the instructors provide for each assessment. And then you have tutors. You reach out, they respond. Like, it's just different. The lack of communication at Wilkes, the lack of instruction, I don't even know, what are they getting paid for? That's really what I want to know. What are they getting paid for? Like, maybe grading papers, maybe grading assignments. And I know, like, this is my 3rd school that I've been to that, you're supposed to be self-motivated, self-taught per se. But this is the only one where they literally throw you out there to the wolves and it's like, figure it out on your own. Yeah. So I'm burnt out. I'm not going to say I'm burnt out now. I'm just tired. But I was burnt out in the program. Like, hella burnt out because you have, and I wasn't even working, you know. Well, I don't know if y'all know, but I wasn't working for this for the fourth semester because I had to take off. I had a lot going on, and there was just no way that I would be able to do that, clinicals and everything else. Um, and I honestly think that I honestly don't think that I really would have been able to do it working. I think that, and I just think at that where I was at that point in my life, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But when I start my final semester, I will be working like the second or third weekend. But the preceptor that I have is he's real cool, he's real chill, and I already know what to expect and things like that. Like what I love about this preceptor is that I could literally call him right now. He'll answer. I can text him right now. He'll respond back. Like he's just, he's available. And the thing that's so crazy about it is he precepts a bunch of students. And the preceptor that I had before, she was cool, but she was unavailable. Like you only saw her during clinical and you had to reach out to her assistant. And I mean, it just wasn't really personable. I feel like, I learned stuff, but I expect, because I paid out of pocket for my preceptors. And that's the whole other thing with Wilkes. They act like they're going to help you get placement and all of this stuff. But when it boils down to it, you better secure your placement if you want to graduate on time. And that may mean that you have to pay for it, you know? There's plenty of people that I mentioned in other videos that sat out because stuff with Wilkes where, they either didn't get them a preceptor or the preceptor wasn't qualified or, I mean, it just got really crazy. Like, and the way that I am set up and wired as an individual, I can't be, hanging on by a thread, blowing in the wind when it comes to my education and what I'm paying for this. Like I'm paying money towards this. Like I want to know what is going on. I want to be out. And I guess I'll say I want to be in control of this. Like I'm paying for it and I don't want to be held back by things that I could have controlled. So that's why I ultimately decided to just bite the bullet and pay for my preceptors. And that's a whole nother situation because with Wilkes, they tell you that your preceptor can only have 2 students from Wilkes at the same time. Like, and then it comes to find out that in the fall, they're changing that. I'm not going to give any details about that. Ask the clinical placement team if you do choose to go to Wilkes. It's funny because I'm in this Facebook group and some new people that come in and they're so excited, like, oh, I got accepted, or da 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 da. Does anybody have any advice? Da da da. And everybody's like, run, go to a different school. And I'm just like, good luck. Like I said, would I recommend anyone to go to this school? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Out of all of the choices of any of the other schools, knowing what I know now, I would definitely not have went to this school. Definitely would have not went to this school. If I knew that I was going to have to come out of my pocket and pay for preceptors, I would have definitely went with another school. The only reason the number one reason I chose this school was because of the clinical placement. Yeah. So I was a bit disappointed about that, but it is what it is. I mean, the good things about the school is that it's a means to an end. Other than that, I really can't think of any, I can't think of why it would be better than another school at all. At all. But I'm here now. I have one more 12-week semester. It starts in 2 weeks. And not really looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to celebrating and, whatnot when it's done. And another thing is I started in May. And knowing what I know now, I would have started in January or the fall, because this is the second semester that I have this 2-week break, and it is brutal. It's brutal. That 2-week break in between classes is very brutal it's just not enough time to decompose. Like, it's not enough time to really, get back to neutral. The breaks, between the November and January and April and May, those are pretty nice. Those are nice, like 6 week breaks or whatever they are. And you need a good break. So that's one of the only things, like if I were to do this again, I would definitely go either in the fall or in the spring, they call it. Yeah. Other than that, I'm trying to think if I could think of any questions that people recently asked me. Oh, I know someone asked me that if I went to Capella, like if I got my BSN, or no, if I got my MSN and then went to get my postmasters, would it be less classes that I would have to take to get the NP? And the answer to that is yes. It's definitely less classes because you already have a master's degree. So you're not going to take all of the master's classes. You only need basically the specialty classes. And if you don't have your 3Ps, then you would need that. So other than that, that's it. I'm just coming in really to just give you guys an update. I know I haven't done a video in a while. I don't see any questions. So that's kind of like a good thing. Nobody has any questions. But if I see more questions that I haven't answered, I'll definitely come back and do another video. Also, like as far as, study guides, study materials, and stuff like that, I cannot help you with that at all. So don't even ask. I mentioned it, I think, in the beginning of this semester that they really, Wilkes really, like, what would you say, came down hard on that. Like people sharing study guides that the instructors made of their own and provided to the students. So they basically threatened to kick you out of the program. They basically threatened to kick you out of the program if you share any of that stuff. So yeah, so I invested too much and paid too much money to. I love y'all, but no, I can't do it. Yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to really update you guys on. I mean, how are the class? Oh yeah, so I can talk about the classes. So in my didactic, there were 3 exams, 50 questions each, and then there were like a few assignments. I think there was one paper, then there was one case formulation. Yeah, and that was about it. I mean, and there was like, so we had to do shadow health, which was not a part of the program when I initially enrolled. It wasn't something that we had to do for the actual core classes. I had to do it for health assessment, but not for, you know, the specialty classes. So for the first didactic and the first 6 weeks, you have shadow health. And so there's 6 weeks of that, but they all count. So before the grading didn't really count, but the grading counts. And the 6 shadow health quiz or whatever, it counts as like an individual quiz. And I think it's weighted at 10% or 5%. I don't remember. And then you have discussion. So the next 6 weeks you have a regular discussion post. And with the discussion post, there, it's due, the first post is due the Wednesday, and then the response is due, after that. And one of the things about it is if you post on Monday, your initial response or your initial post on Monday, you can do your response on Tuesday as long as there's someone that did the work and you can actually respond. The only thing that they don't want you to do is submit a post on Monday and then your initial post on Monday and then do your response on Monday as well. It has to be like on 2 different days, but you can get it all done before Wednesday. But the shadow health stuff, I think that was all due by Sunday. And in the clinical course, so you have psych evaluations, You have SOAP notes. So you have 3 psych evaluations. You have 3 SOAP notes. You have a PowerPoint. And I think that's about it. You might have one other thing to do, but I don't really remember. I think you have one other thing to do, but not really. So the first week, I think the SOAP note is due, but the response to the SOAP note is not due to the following week. And then the next week is a psych evaluation, and then the following week is the response to the psych evaluation. So that is kind of cool because it breaks up the workload just a little bit and it gives you a little room to breathe. Yeah. And I think in the didactic, the first exam is like week 5. And then the second exam is week 9, I believe, or 8. And then the third is week, sorry, I just drew a blank, 12. So it's not like, 4, 8, and 12. It's a little different. So that's what I know that's what I know from experience. And I know that the clinical is pretty much the same for the final semester, but I know that the didactic, I think one of the main differences is that, well, there's definitely differences. There's no shadow health. I know that there are, I believe, 12 discussions that you have to do. And I know that I believe, is another case formulation. And I believe that there are 2 exams. And they're 30% each. So, yeah. So that's about it. That's what I have to look forward to. Oh, yeah. And then so they have now this, I think I got it. I'm not sure. I'll update you guys. But they have this course. It's 590 and 591. 591 is for people who have who are going for their postmasters. And 590 is for people who are going for their masters. And it's like it's kind of like I guess like a board's prep, but it's mandatory. Like you can't graduate if you don't take it, or you can't sit for your boards if something like that. But I think all depending on when you enrolled, some people don't have to take it. Like it's not on my degree plan, but I noticed something on my degree plan but it doesn't say 590 it doesn't say 591. So I inquired about that. It says like certificate completion, but it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say 590, 591. So that is something that they added just out the blue, and a lot of people were taken aback by it. I was kind of pissed off because when I first heard about it, I'm like, well, I hope they're not charging us for this, because how are you going to just throw a course in on someone's degree plan? And I already agreed to a degree plan, and you can't just add stuff. You would have to grandfather people in. And that's one thing that I realized that Wilkes does not do. They do not grandfather people in at all. Like, I think certain things, like I said, how it'll depend on when you come in, but like maybe they do, but it doesn't seem like it, because with the shadow health and things like that, if that's not how the class was when I enrolled, then I should be privy to the same class. But it makes sense, because if they're changing everything, then I guess they have to change it for everyone. So in a way it makes sense, but not really. I don't like the way they switch up on you. And they switch up on you a lot. They add stuff. It's a toxic environment, really. Like, it's pretty toxic. It's stressful. It doesn't have to be stressful. And I think the most stressful part, I'm talking about Wilkes for people who are joining. The most stressful part about Wilkes is the fact that the communication is so bad. The communication is so bad. Like, if I weren't in these groups, I don't really know what I do, because it's like, who do you talk to? Who's going to answer your questions? Nobody. Nobody's going to answer your questions. And then you have instructors telling you, don't ask me questions. Look at the announcements, and they're not even addressing what you're asking on the announcements. It's like a slap in the face. It's like, I'm paying all this money for you to be sassy and disrespect me? What? I don't like that. You know, I don't like that. And I'm not the only one. You know, I'm not the only one who feels this way. And when you see it from other students, it's kind of like, where do they get off? Like, what makes them think that they can talk to people like that? So, yeah, I highly do not recommend it. Like I said, it's a means to an end. Like, I'm so far in it that I'm not turning back. And it's so funny because I thought about going back for like, I think I told you guys the AG PNP, and it would only be 2 semesters, but 6 months really. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could put up with their BS, like for real. I don't think I could do it. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, I guess I'm ranting, raving, but I'm really just telling you guys about my experience. I don't do I see any questions in the chat? I don't know if I see questions, but I don't see questions. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I just want you guys to know about the experience. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go for now. I appreciate you guys for jumping on. I hope you guys are not asking any questions that I'm not answering them. I have a new phone, so I think if you all were asking questions, I would see them, and I don't see any questions. So I'm just gonna assume that no one has any questions. But if you do, drop them down below. You guys know I will definitely get to you. I answer pretty much every question that I see, and I tend to see all the questions. The only thing that I ask is if you have more than like 1 or 2 quick questions, then just book a consultation. I'll ask as many questions in 15 minutes as you want, or more time. You get more questions, whatever, it's up to you. Or if you just need help with anything, like if you need help trying to come up with like a schedule plan, like especially if you're in Capella, you want to figure out how to do it in 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 1 term or anything like that. You want to come up with a game plan. I'm here for you guys. Especially now for the next 2 weeks, I'm pretty flexible. I don't really have too much going on. Yeah, I don't really have too much going on. I will be traveling soon, but I'm still here for you guys. I can always make time. But yeah, that's about it. So Godspeed to you all, and I hope everyone is enjoying the summer. And like I said, I'll come back soon, maybe next week or so, and do another video, another check-in before I start the my last term, which I should really be happy about. You got to be a little bit more specific, Denise. When you say, do I offer writing services? What do you mean? Like, do I write papers for people? No. Do I help people if they need help understanding what is being asked of them? Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me know if that's what you mean. Or if you need help, like, yeah, if you need help, like with grammar or anything like editing or like help you, yeah, definitely for sure. I can help you with that. But I don't like, write papers or anything. Tie at school. I wouldn't do that anyway, but yeah. If you need help with like APA or anything like that, absolutely. Those are the type of things that I can definitely help you guys with. All right. All right. So I can see the questions, so nobody's asking any questions. So all right. So yeah, this was it. This was the live, and I was not able to do Instagram at the same time. I'm still learning. I'm trying to, really learn this social media stuff, but it takes time. So I think I have to actually buy a program to be able to stream on multiple platforms. So I have to look into that. If you guys know anything, let me know. Help a sister out. All right. But for real, Godspeed to you all. And I'll be back soon. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.